Are you a business owner who struggles with imposter syndrome? Maybe you haven't quite gotten to the business owner phase yet, but you've been wanting to start a blog or start something of your own, but you've been paralyzed by imposter syndrome. I think it's safe to say that we've all been there. And imposter syndrome is a rude friend that screams mean girl thoughts into our heads while we're trying to chase after our dreams and live our life that we want to create for ourselves. But yet it paralyzes us because it's a real thing. Well, stick around because I'm sharing 3 tips, albeit very simple tips that I think you can use to help you fight imposter syndrome and own your own voice. So stick around. Oh, imposter syndrome. It is truly paralyzing. And of all the conversations that I've had with creative entrepreneurs and business owners who are just getting started or who have been in it for years struggle with this. It is a real thing. And I know that I have struggled in the past. It has been hard to watch friends and creative entrepreneurs and other people in the industry do things faster, do things quicker, make you feel like you're just not enough. And struggling with imposter syndrome, like I said, is very real. But I am sharing 3 things that I think could be very helpful in fighting it and owning your own voice. So number 1, I highly recommend practice. And I swear my younger self is totally rolling my eyes at this because as a former runner and former gymnast, it is literally the thing that my coaches would say all the time. They say that we would need to practice makes perfect. And they would also say that every single day that we're not practicing, someone else is and they're getting better. And while none of this is a competition, there is some real truth in what practice does for us, in what practice allows us to do. Practice allows us to become much more comfortable in owning whatever it is that we are trying to do. Whether you're an athlete and you are running and you're a gymnast like I was, or you're trying to do video content like this, the more that we practice, the more comfortable that we become with it. And once we become more comfortable, the more confident that we are. So yes, my younger self is absolutely rolling my eyes at this tip, but I think it is so perfect for you as a creative entrepreneur, small business owner, or someone who is daydreaming about leaving your 9-to-5 and chasing that dream that you need to practice. And practicing every single day or weekly or continuously is going to be the key in fighting imposter syndrome and stepping out into the world with who you are and what you want to do. Because the more that we practice, the more that we build that confidence and we build that ability to really own it. So, like I said, practice makes perfect. This is another one that I think is really important when it comes to fighting imposter syndrome and owning your own voice. Sometimes we just need to put those damn blinders on and we need to stop following people who are triggers, who for whatever reason make us feel less than, for whatever reason make us feel anxious when we see their content because we somehow feel like we're not enough or that we're not moving fast enough, that we're not doing enough, that we just are putting ourselves down because we're consuming their content. We have the right to turn that on and turn that off. So if someone is a trigger for you, make sure that you unfollow them or that you hide their content, you don't engage with it as much, because all of that constant connection of seeing what other people are doing on a highlight reel, where they're only showing their best and proudest moments, can be very challenging and discouraging for someone who is just starting out or just in a season of really feeling like they're fighting imposter syndrome. So if you're in that season and there is someone who is a trigger, make sure that you turn them off. Don't allow yourself to fall a victim to social media and to what they're doing on there because they're posting their best moments. Not everyone is sharing everything all the time on social media. I don't think that we expect them to, but it can definitely be challenging if you are in that season to see what they're doing when you're trying and you're struggling. So if you struggle with imposter syndrome and someone on social media that you follow is a trigger, just cut them out for now. You can always revisit it and add them back in when you're in a better place, but you don't always need to see their content. So number 1 is practice. Number 2 is put those damn blinders on and focus on you and limit your time on social media or remove those that are causing triggers for you in this season. And then my third tip for you is to identify what your isms are and lean into that. What I mean by that is we all have things that we say and do that are uniquely us. Lean into that. Identify what your isms are. Ask a friend to maybe help you identify what they are if you can't figure it out yourself. If you realize that you do things that are uniquely you, jot them down in a Google Doc or on a sheet of paper, and then revisit them and see how you can leverage those to create your own voice, to create who you are, because you are your own unique gift. You don't need to be anyone else. And that, I think, is going to help with fighting imposter syndrome. Yes, it is still a thing, but if you practice and you feel more comfortable and confident with what you do and what you offer, and you're able to actually raise your hand about it, I think that's step number one. The number two, put those blinders on. If you can't, if you're just in a season where you can't handle seeing other people's content, turn it off. It's okay. And then number three, identify your isms and lean into them, because that is what's going to make you uniquely you. And that's what people want to connect with. At the end of the day, they don't want to connect with you acting like someone else. They want to connect with who you are. And I don't want to use the word genuine or authentic because, gosh, those are so overplayed. But identify what's real for you and lean into that. So I hope you found those 3 tips really helpful on fighting imposter syndrome. And if you are in that season right now of imposter syndrome, know that with those 3 things, I really do think that you can come out on the other side and that you don't have to be paralyzed by it. Just begin. And if you really found this helpful, please make sure that you like it and share it with a friend who may be struggling with the same thing. And then, of course, subscribe to the Simply Cyan YouTube channel if you haven't already. I drop new content every single week, all about marketing, branding, and growing your business. So I'll see you next time. Bye.